All right, hi guys. I'm going to show you the pinch pot and how to add the coils. So this is one that I started. This is what it looks like so far. So I've tried to put the techniques that we talked about, like the sphere, the spiral, the long coil, the twist. There's the fold. Again, you guys need to use 3 or more, okay? But what I wanted to show you was what you're gonna do for the pinch pot today, and then again, how to add the coils, all right? So what you're gonna do, I'm gonna give you a piece of clay. You're gonna take some of that off of there, but you want your bigger part for the pinch pot, okay? So to start the pinch pot, you're basically going to make a meatball. Again, just like we did with the coils, I'm using the palms of my hands to make the circle, or the meatball. I call it a meatball. So I don't know if you guys have ever made meatballs, but this is how you do it. Okay, so after I get my meatball, what I'm gonna do is take my thumb, and I'm gonna find the center, and I'm just gonna hold it in the palm of my hand, and I'm gonna push my thumb all the way down. Don't go through the clay. You just want it pretty close, to the bottom there. And then you're gonna take your thumb, keep it on the inside of the pinch pot, take your 4 fingers on the outside, and you just start to pinch your 4 fingers to your thumb. So you're just pinching the clay. Every time I'm doing that, notice I'm turning it around and around. And I'm just gonna keep doing that. And I am starting on the bottom. I want you to notice that too. I'm starting on the bottom, and I'm gradually gonna work my way up as I go around. And as I'm doing this, the clay, you notice it's starting to spread out. All right. Keep doing that, keep doing that. All right, at this point, what I like to do is then put it on the table and put my thumb back in there and just kind of press it against the table, because what that's gonna do is give me a nice flat base on the bottom, okay? Now make sure you don't make your base too thin, because you don't want to be going through it, but also you don't want it too thick so it's like a huge mound of clay on the base of it either. So I'm applying like a medium pressure, and I'll show you what the base looks like, the bottom. So now it's nice and flat. Okay, I don't know what that is, piece of paper. All right, so that way it's not wobbling all over the place when I put it down. All right, so now I'm just gonna kind of continue to pinch this around and around until it becomes bigger and bigger. I also want you to notice that this is the lip, okay? You want that to be about the same consistency, like the same width. You don't want like a super skinny area and then a thick area over here. You want it to be pretty consistent. And if you get little cracks like that, all you do is you just take your finger and smooth it out, okay? But again, I think I told you this with the coils. The more you're using the clay, the more it starts to dry out. So you don't want to like do too much, because then it just starts to break. So don't do too much. All right. So that's pretty good. I could, go more with this if I wanted to, but for time's sake. All right, so there's my pinch pot. And I can smooth that all out. My base, all right? At this point, I want you to just write your name in there with the wooden tool you guys will have, the dowel tool. All right, and then I'll just put it back down. That way it's all labeled. I know it's mine. I don't have to worry about it afterwards. All right, so I'm gonna put this aside. Remember that small piece of clay I had you put to the side? Now you're going to get that. And this is the clay you're going to use for your coils. I'm not using a lot just because I'm showing you this. You guys will have more than this, okay? All right, so again, we did the coils, and I'm just going to do it like a small one just to show you how to attach it. I'm not going to show you like a whole coil pot here. Okay, so let's say I wanted to do the spiral one. Again, just twist it, roll it. All right, so I got my spiral coil. All right, so this is slip, okay? This is just a watered down clay. All right. What you're going to do is first score the clay, then you use just a little bit of slip. This is like clay glue. All it is again, watered down clay. But it helps to join these pieces together so they don't just like fall off, especially when they go in the kiln. If things aren't joined properly, they will just fall apart and you won't be happy because it'll be broke. All right, so before you join something, you always want to score the clay. You just take your little dowel tool and just do like little marks like that. All right, that's scoring. And I'm gonna have to, you guys will go all the way around this. I'm not gonna do all that right now. All right, then you're going to score the piece that you're actually attaching to. And I only need to score the bottom where I'm attaching it. I don't have to do the scoring around that whole spiral. Then I take a little bit of the slip. Again, you don't need a ton of this because then it just turns into a big mess. All right, and I'm just putting a tiny bit on there. I'll put a tiny bit on here. Notice I'm not globbing it on there. All right, and then I'm gonna stick it where I want it to go. Now, that's not enough to make it stick. So what you want to do at this point is just pull a little bit of the clay from the pinch pot. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm just pulling a little bit of that up to join it. See how that's nice and smooth and it's all joined? That's what you want. So let's say I wanted to add like another little sphere on the side of that. So I'll roll out my sphere. All right. And then again, I have to score this. You can actually just score it with the fork if you want to. Just make sure there's not a ton of slip on it. Just score it. Okay, that way I got my slip on there too. You could do it that way. All right, and then I'm gonna put this right here on my pinch pot. All right, apply a little bit of pressure. Then I'm gonna just take my finger and pinch some of that clay down to join it to the other part, like the pinch pot part. Okay, so you see how that's nice and smooth? That's how you want it to look. I'm also going to have to join these two just a little bit. So I'm just taking a little bit of that clay and push it over just to attach these two pieces